Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Friends, Dato' and Tan Sri, ladies and gentlemen. Pearls and Jam, Wednesday, October 24th, 2012. Case history: The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, Part 2. What a week. First, I have Ananda Arumugam walking into my clinic after an absence of 6 years. A post-infarct patient who lost his job because his boss thought he could no longer deliver, now a boss himself with 20 or so people depending on him. Then there is CML, a young Chinese engineer, just turned 32-year-old this week and just married, with advanced lung cancer complicated by a disseminated neoplasm to his pleural cavity, that is a sac covering the lung, resulting in gross fluid accumulation and partial collapse of both lungs. An acute blockade of his pulmonary circulation due to increased clotting activity arising from increased thrombogenicity from the cancer situation. And as if this is already not enough, a very tense and compressed heart due to malignant fluid accumulation in between the heart and its pericardial sac. We term this pericardial effusion, leading to a tamponade. This young man has advanced cancer that is stage 4, disseminated, and is in real deep shit. I had to do an emergency evacuation of the malignant accumulated fluid by doing a pericardiocentesis. That was just the beginning of things to come. He needed top-notch specialist oncological treatment with the latest chemotherapy regime available. 2 days after the pericardial tap, he went into respiratory failure due to the additive effect of pulmonary embolism and his lungs encroachment by the disseminated cancer. Needed to be actively ventilated to tide over the acute situation while the chemotherapy takes its time to give an effect. Prognosis, God only knows. Statistically speaking, if he survived this acute episode, he probably has about 1 to 2 years at best. Not great, but this is the reality of life when you happen to be in deep shit like him. Case 2. Madam GKL, a 61-year-old Chinese lady, arrived at our ER in extremis. She was pulseless, in coma and not breathing. The ER medical officer noted ventricular fibrillation on the ECG, meaning she had a cardiac arrest. The ER in my hospital is one of the best places to have a cardiac arrest in the whole of KL and PJ, I think. The staff there are all superb at bringing back people who are actually ready to go to the other side and pull them back to this side of the realm. After half an hour of active resuscitation and ventilation, Madam JKL's heart comes back to sinus rhythm. She was by now on artificial ventilation, and my anesthetic colleague was in charge of the breathing. Sir, your wife has massive acute myocardial infarction, and I'm bringing her straight, with your agreement, I'm bringing her straight to the cath lab now to do an emergency coronary angiogram to look at the blockages and open them up with balloon and then tack them up with metal wire mesh which act as scaffolding called stents. We have no choice and time is of the essence. The husband agreed, as there is nothing else that we can do. And he told me, try your best, doctor, at all costs. It is early days now for us to tell the effect of the cardiac arrest on the brain that we have to reassess later, I told him again. 1.5 hours later, in the wee hours of the morning, she came out of the cardiovascular cath lab with all her blockages open and 3 stents implanted. That took care of the heart. The effect of hypoxemia or lack of blood flow or no flow due to the cardiac arrest on the brain need to be reassessed the next day or day after. Need to give her some time. On the 3rd hospital day, she is still fully ventilated. Her brain function assessed by EEG showed minimal activities. The outlook is grim. A long-term vegetative state as a possibility was on the card, 99.9% probability. She has what we term as global encephalopathy, the period of no oxygen and no blood flow to the brain while arriving to the hospital was too long. I had a long discussion with her husband. He does not foresee a vegetative situation as something that his wife would have liked. Doc, you are Muslim and I'm people of the book, Christian. Both of us are Christian, me and my missus. Both of us believe in him in our very own special way. What do you think I should do? Well, Mr. Lim, we have done our utmost best, me as a doctor and you as a husband. As a Muslim, I entirely agree with your plan to bring her home and let God decide. But sir, things will happen very quickly the moment we wound down her treatment and especially the active ventilation. It will be a matter of an hour or less than an hour. At the moment, she has no ability to breathe by herself. The signals from the brain are not there, so to speak. Whatever we decide, let your Canada-based son and daughter arrive at KLIA first tonight and see their mother still alive, even though in coma. After that, I will unwind everything. I'm not playing God, of course. It is just the small things that He allowed us to play around with. You know what I mean. It will be kinder for your children in the long run. And I would do that if you and your children could come to an agreement all round about this unwinding of the ventilator. That is the good, the bad and the ugly handed to me on my plate this week. At this juncture in my private and professional life, I wish I could be involved more in all my patients' spiritual life due to this feeling of mahabbah for my fellow humans. But societal, medical, ethical consideration and political correctness does not allow that boundary to be traversed. A great pity. Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. From Him we come, to Him we return. Till we meet again.